Hello everybody, it's Mk6 Matt and welcome back to another video. As you can see, the GTI is looking, well, it's actually looking pretty dirty and disgusting, if I'm going to be honest, especially in the back here. If you own one of these cars, you know the back always gets disgusting. Anyways, today I'm going to be giving you guys a guide essentially on the water pump in these cars. If you know anything about the Mk6 GTI, it's known for water pump failure. Doesn't really matter the year. They usually have failing water pumps. I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood and we will discuss the water pump. So popping the hood here. You might be wondering where actually is the water pump on this motor. It's really not too easy to see at all, and that's what really makes it difficult to change. It's actually hiding right under the intake manifold all the way down in there. So if you want to change out your water pump, typically you got to take this intake manifold off. And once you've done it once, it's pretty easy to do again. But when you're taking it off, you might as well do injectors and a carbon cleaning. And I actually made videos on those, and that's what I did. I actually replaced my water pump. Well, sort of replaced it. We'll get into that later. Anyways, what the water pump actually does on this motor, of course, is it pumps all of that fluid around that keeps your engine cool and pumps it through the radiator. And if that fails, well, that just stinks. So usually how you know if your water pump's failing is you'll notice a puddle of coolant on the ground, and you'll notice that that is starting to get a little bit low. If it's down at the minimum like it is right now, that just means that the coolant is more cooled off. When the engine heats up and the coolant heats up, it usually will rise up towards the top. Anyways, once your water pump has failed, you have a few options for fixing it. You could go ahead and buy a complete OEM replacement, which looks like it's plastic, but the latest revision is actually like a ceramic compound or a ceramic mixture with plastic, something like that. It's a little bit more robust than the straight up plastic ones that you get on these motors. Then you also have the option of getting an upgraded one, and this one is made out of aluminum and it's aftermarket. Now, typically you would think, oh, the aluminum is going to be better, and that is true. The aluminum one definitely isn't going to crack, and that's how they fail, obviously, is the plastic stock ones will crack and break. And even the newer revisions, they can crack, even though they're more of like a ceramic. However, if you have a CBFA like I do, this upgraded aluminum pump actually doesn't even fit. I went through the trouble. You can watch my water pump vlog if you want. I'll link it down below. And I got the aluminum one in, and the CBFAs actually have an extra sensor on the water pump, and you will get an engine code if that sensor's not plugged in if you installed the aluminum pump and didn't put the sensor on, which is on the CBFA car. If you have a CCTA, you absolutely can upgrade to the aluminum pump. I'll link the different types of pumps down below and what car they are for. There's a few different ways you can tell if you have a CBFA. If you go down here to this little sticker, you can see this one says California PZEV, and that means that it is a CBFA. If it doesn't say this, then you have a CCTA. But if you don't have this sticker, sometimes people peel it off. You won't know. And the other way to check is if you have this little thing right here, it won't look exactly like this. This is an aftermarket filter. If you have a stock air box, this little piece will be connecting into the air box. But if you have this extra little air hose down here, that also means that you have a CBFA. And if you don't have that, you obviously don't have a CBFA. If you go to your gas pump, I'm also pretty sure that only CBFA vehicles have this little metal flap in here. I'm not exactly positive on that, so don't quote me on that one, but that might be true. So yeah, the aluminum aftermarket pump does not fit the CBFA vehicle. But the real question is, do you actually need it? If your water pump hasn't failed yet, and you need to do injectors, it's probably a good idea to replace it because you got to take the intake manifold off anyways. And once you take the manifold off, the water pump isn't too hard to get to. But if you don't have any issues with carbon cleaning or needing to change out your injectors and your water pump is fine, just leave it alone. It's not worth replacing this thing unless it's already failed or unless you have to take this intake manifold off. If you do need to replace it for whatever reason, if you have a CBFA like mine, just go ahead and get the OEM kit. I'll link it down below. Just get it from ECS. They give you everything you need. I know some people don't like ECS, but honestly, the one I bought came in nice and quick, and I really didn't have any issues with fitting it up to the CBFA. And if you have a CCTA, you can honestly pick either between the OEM kit or the upgraded aluminum one. Honestly, the OEM kit is pretty good. Like I said, it's not actually like a full plastic. It's sort of like a hybrid, I believe, of a ceramic and a plastic, so it's definitely more tough and more resistant to cracking. And after you install or fix your water pump, there are some things you can do to prevent them from failing again. As you can see, this is where you put your oil in on these cars. And if you spill some oil, it can go all the way down and crack that water pump just because the oil gets so hot sitting on that water pump, it'll just crack it. So try not to spill any oil down in this area. And if you have any leaks that could be dripping oil all the way down there, definitely have those repaired. And in general, just don't let your car get really, really hot. Don't let your coolant get super hot. I mean, that should just be a given in general, but that I guess could also promote cracking. Now, if you watch my vlog for my water pump, you'll actually notice that I kept the plastic housing because I broke the ceramic housing on the new water pump when I was trying to install it. This is a common rule of thumb when you do stuff to your cars. Make sure you use the right mounting hardware and don't mix up any of the mounting hardware when you install the new thing, because you could totally crack and destroy your new water pump, which is what I did. So I took out the new internals in the new pump and put it in the old housing, and just trying not to spill any oil or anything down there, and hopefully it survives. So that's my case. And oh yeah, if you guys want to know the actual difference between a CBFA engine and a CCTA engine, the CBFA cars are actually just built to pass California emissions only. California and their laws make, you know, stuff difficult for companies, but yeah, it just includes like an extra air hose for starting the car. I guess it helps with emissions, and then the gas is more sealed up. There's also an extra sensor on the water pump for some reason. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but on the CBFAs, for some reason, they have that extra sensor, which makes it so you need a specific different water pump. And the OEM pump doesn't always come with a sensor. So there's actually a CCTA and a CBFA separate water pump. So I'll have it all organized and linked down below, like I said earlier. But yes, everybody, that is all the information that you need to know when figuring out what water pump is right for your Mk6 GTI. If this video helped you guys out at all, make sure you please leave it a like. And, you know, leave a comment if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to answer questions for you guys. For you Volkswagen fans out there, this is my sister's new car. She's going to be starting to drive soon, so we got her a nice 2.5 inline 5 Passat. I really, really like this car, honestly. It's super comfortable. We got a good deal on it. And in general, it just drives really nice and gets good gas mileage, especially for being a 2.5 inline 5 cylinder. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I am Mk6 Matt, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.